New at 6 tonight, as increased tariffs take shape on food coming from other countries, a family with deep roots in DeSoto Parish says their land has blessed them for well over a century, from crops to oil and gas and timber deals. The 200 acres of sprawling land sits off of Highway 5 in Gloucester, a small community in the parish. Dominique Ben spoke with a couple of stakeholders about the past, present, and future of their land.
One of the last major Confederate victories of the Civil War was the Battle of Mansfield in DeSoto Parish in 1864. Around the same time, two families arranged a marriage between 15-year-old Lizzie and a much older Charles Mosley Sr.
Lizzie had just lost her mother and brother to pneumonia. She doesn't know, and her father doesn't know what to do with her. It's a girl child. The best thing for a girl child is a marriage to a strong man who's going to take care of her. And that's what Charles Mosley Sr. offered to Lizzie, who's coming 250 miles to marry him.
It's a love story rooted deep in these grounds off of Highway 5 in Gloucester. The Mosleys had 12 children and a vision to take care of family for future generations. Just being here is nostalgic for the people who grew up on the land.
The smelling of the cornbread, the cakes, my grandmother, my mom, she learned to do from my mother, baking tea cakes. But me, having to watch the hogs being slaughtered, the fresh cows being slaughtered every year. We had a hog and a cow we killed, and then we had fresh eggs, fresh chicken. We put them in a coop for 8 weeks to clean them out with corn that we grew. So it was an amazing process.
You didn't have to go to the store?
Only for salt and pepper.
Dwight Mosley was raised by his grandparents on this property. He says he's walked every inch of this land.
My earliest memory is my grandfather walking every day with a gun on his shoulder, walking the land to see who was on it in the morning time and in the evening, and then walking behind him knowing that this is a black-owned property. One day, probably come to me, which is true, didn't know at the time.
The Mosleys bought and maintained these 200 acres. It has been passed down through generations.
Would you ever sell it?
No, and my sons know that too. Just like Yellowstone, don't sell one damn inch.
So you put the 160 acres with the neighboring 40 acres. Black people have 200 acres, and they were proud of that. I'm proud of that. That's my heritage. That's my legacy.
Longtime investigative journalist Joyce King grew up in the area, but now lives in Dallas. Her work has even gained her an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She was the last generation to pick cotton on this land. In 2008, she started reviewing hundreds of documents. Her mother is one of the Mosleys' 12 children, and for years her mother lived in a small house on the property.
That's what my mother instilled in me. When you're a landowner, a property owner, you walk a certain way. You hold your head a certain way. You don't let anyone disrespect your land or the original owners.
My mom was proud of this land. She was proud of her parents. She's always talked about them. But the proudness of being on the land that you own is a different pride.
Spring 2008, the Haynesville Shale produced instant millionaires in northwest Louisiana. Joyce says during her research, she found that the Haynesville Shale is made up of 25 counties and parishes, 13 in Texas, 10 in Louisiana, and 2 in Arkansas. The entire area covers more land than the state of New Jersey.
If you have land in DeSoto Parish, you should be rich because the Haynesville Shale runs under you.
At the time, Chesapeake Energy made instant millionaires by giving massive bonus checks, some as much as $8 million. However, Joyce says the liquid gold has failed to bring her family and others in DeSoto Parish millions of dollars.
Everyone says that. Wow, you have 200 acres. You should be millionaires. We're probably thousandaires
Wow.
instead of millionaires. But that's the point. Why aren't we? And all the other people that I spoke with who said the same thing. We're not getting the best deals. And why is that?
Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, is majority shareholder of Comstock Resources. The natural gas producing company has built 2 new fracking wells on the family's property to extract natural gas that is shipped all over the world from DeSoto Parish, including the Louisiana Energy Gateway pipeline that will run right through the Mosley property. But Joyce says the contract between Comstock and her family is based off of an old 1970s conveyance.
So I looked for millionaires to talk to, and I found that there were hardly any black millionaires, 2 or 3. And one of them was willing to talk with me, and he told me what he had to do to lease those acres at a good price. But a lot of people got shafted, black and white. So I called Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters and asked Jerry, would he give me an interview? I'm still waiting for an affirmative response, because I met him. He knows who I am. He's aware that I'm doing this. And I would like to hear from Comstock Resources.
And now Joyce is warning others who have land in DeSoto Parish to do the research and negotiate the best deal.
Don't just do the side of the road on the hood of the truck deal. I tell people all the time, don't do that deal. Research and investigate these oil and gas companies.
Joyce says to some people the land doesn't look like much, but she says it's not necessarily what's on top of the ground, but what's in the ground that's in high demand. In DeSoto Parish, Dominique Ben, KSLA News 12.